Hey guys, I'm going to be doing a little bonus update review. My YouTube's back working again. I got a bit burnt out as well. My website broke. There's a plethora of things, I guess, that got the content ground, but I'm going to try and be a little bit more consistent. Maybe not every day, but try and post. I know people on it like hearing pro players' opinions and such. Anyway, I'll just start with the guide. This, I believe, is the second to last update of the second phase of the year. I think we've got one more big update and then that'll be it. Maybe another bonus balance. Bonus balance obviously balanced around the pro scene for the most part, which is why they're usually only nerfs and they're very focused on small high level stuff. So the first thing is they fixed, I guess, Deathbringer. They brought the healing reduction from 35% to 40%. So I guess it was bugged. They changed Deathbringer in season 10 from reducing damage and having a slow. It kind of gave it a little bit more utility by, especially now by removing the slow. They gave it like anti-heal and shield, which is the new thing coming in, especially with items like erosion, doom of isolation. So they've removed the slow. They're removing the old utility fully and just giving it the new utility. Having slows on crits is definitely snowbally, something you have to be careful of. Because Hunters can run people down, especially with the other movement speed items that they got, such as Bladed Boomerang and Bloodforge. They kind of stacked up to a point where if an ADC hit a crit on you late game, you couldn't get away from them, even though they were autoing you and you're running away. It didn't feel very good. Change that. They also took Deathbringer's power down by 10. The way to think about power on crit items is that, assuming you're critting every auto, the power, your autos are scaling at a higher power. They're scaling at 1.85 times, not at 1 times. So even though it's a 10 power nerf, it's effectively an 18.5 power nerf, assuming they're going the full crit build. And that obviously changes as well with the Deathbringer passive too, so it's actually a lot bigger than you think. And this is also on top of the Demon Blade power reduction for a total of 15 power. So 15 power times, what would it be with Deathbringer? 30%, be like almost 2. It's like a 30 power nerf on the auto attacks that are critting, which I think's the perfect change. I mean, I think crit's still going to be strong. I think you can still build it on your Mercuries and your Bakasauras, and maybe your Vamana jungles, and there should be like Hunters that can still go crit as well. Gods like Jingwei. You know, I think there is still crit will still be good, but they have nerfed a little bit power because I think power is a little bit too. They've also nerfed the attack speed off Demon Blade. You were typically seasons ago, before I was a pro player, obviously I was Diamond Diamond first in season 4. Before that, I always remembered when I was a noob casual player, you couldn't build every stat in the game and crit. Crit was very unique, a different build path. Obviously, Demon Blade and these items that got attack speed and crit they kind of changed that a little bit from. They changed that from being power only to power and attack speed and crit and penetration number, everything. So they changed that now, obviously back to what it was, removing some of the attack speed, not all of it, but 10% and then 5 power. So overall, the crit build lost 15 power and 10% attack speed. It's not a huge amount, but I think with how the game is balanced on a knife's edge, I think it's very important not to bring things down too fast. I think this is probably the best number changes they could have done to make tanks feel like they're trying, and also not gut the build fully for them. And they nerf Boomerang too, which is being abused by gods like Mana and Mercury. I think this is fine. Movement speed's obnoxious in SMITE. Don't really mind. Anyway, now we're moving on to Bloodforge and Hydras. Now, Bloodforge should be a jungle exclusive item, almost, in my opinion. The item was giving, was it 75 power at one point? Now it's down to 55. They also removed the movement speed. Is it a hunter item or an assassin item? Harrison didn't make their mind up. I think what really put this item over the edge was the attack speed. I think they should keep the movement speed nerf, buff it back up to 65 power. Oh, sorry. Undo these buffs and just remove the attack speed. Keep it as that, Like if some hunters want to build it, they can build it, but they shouldn't also get attack speed. I think it's fine to have Bloodforge. It's like a risk or reward item. Like it's less damage than Devs, but if you do get a kill, you snowball the fight. I think it's completely fine. Hydra's understandable. A lot of people were building this item. Penetration on it is good as well. It also is a good item overall. It's fine. I wouldn't want to see its item go any lower though. Otherwise, it's just lost its identity. At that point, just nerf the penetration and keep the item the same. You know, I think this is fine. So overall, so far, I don't like this. Is any change I don't like. Doom Mob nerf, I like 145 power, not including the stacks you get. Obnoxious, being built everywhere. Also have movement speed in it too. Mid laners build Doom Orb, Hunters build Bloodforge and Boomerang sometimes. Junglers build Bloodforge and Boomerang and speed buff. Solo laners build Regrowth. So what a sports build, you know. So I kind of like them nerfing items though. Got movement speed on it. Kind of buffs support more than other roles because it means the movement speed items go. It makes support mobile because less mobile. But a good power nerf, and they also nerfed Deso too. Deso was crazy good. It's only a 10 power nerf. It's not massive, but when you think about how these 3 items are built in pretty much every build, you're looking at 15, 10, 10. So you're looking at 35. 35, yeah, 35 power reduction, which is good amount. Obviously, Mage is still going to have like around 800 late game with all the red buffs and shit, but it's a good start, you know. It's a good start. And they also nerf the passive on Tahuti with all the increased damage numbers. Percentages increased by a lot more, so it's a fine change. Magus change, I hate this change. The item wasn't being even built that much, and they just removed the identity. It's very similar to Hydra's, where this is what they've done to Magus. What I worry they're doing to Hydra's, where Hydra's is supposed to be the auto buffing item after you use an ability. Magus is supposed to be the follow up damage off of an ability on a tank. They've just gutted the passive in half. I hate that. I think it should have stayed at 9%. You want to nerf the item, nerf the power, nerf the power. You know, keep the passive the same. I think passives in SMITE are really cool, and they make items different. So that's a bad change by Hydra's. Net change. This is a bad change, but I like the Doom Orb, Deso, and Rod changes overall. They nerf Aphrodite. Even though Aphrodite was falling out of favor in comp, she was still being picked a little bit. These changes should just... You will not see any more Aphrodite support. Unless it's very comp dependent. You're probably not going to see her. She was very annoying to play against as well. Very annoying in ranked games. Very cringing casual. I think it's a good change for the game overall. Not even, in my opinion, not really pro-specific, but just in general. And then finally, you've got Marty, the new god to the game. Marty had a lot of value, a lot more bans than picks, if I recall correctly. Which means it's annoying to play against. You know, if he's getting picked a lot, it mean they're really strong. If they're getting banned a lot as well, it means they're also irritating or just too good. I don't think Marty was flat out broken, but he had a lot of stuff going for him. I mean, the 40% penetration shredding was kind of crazy. It's what kind of made him broken with Double Hunter. I think when you've got a god like Marty, who's typically played in mid lane, and you give him a prot shred, it pushes him towards mid lane because you can play a second Hunter in ADC. And when you do that, you push mages out of the meta, so it's probably why they nerfed penetration. And they also decreased the movement speed by 5%. Kind of a net change. I think this god can stay strong for a little bit. I think if they're going to look at anything, they should look at his bushes in terms of balancing. Even though they may not affect your games yet, let's say in a casuals or in low-level ranked, or have a ranked, whatever rank you are, they will eventually start getting better and better. And around corners, around sieging, around objectives, the bushes are very strong. I think that they should look at that maybe before looking at things like this. But this is his bush, like a buff from the actual itself. Anyway, that's the bonus patch. I'd rate it like an 8.5 out of 10. I think they should nerf support auras and nerf horrific by 10%. The damage reduction. Besides that, I think the game's in a good spot right now. I think maybe adding one little objective around solo lane would be really cool, but I think they've done a very good job curving the map, especially with the chest camp and the cool new prot on buffs. I think they've done a good job so far, so I'm hoping they keep it up. I'm looking forward to the next patch. If you got any thoughts, drop them down below. But yeah, that's my opinion so far on the 10.4 bonus balance updates, which are already live and I've already scrimmed on them. So, big fan. Yep, watching. I'll see you in the next one.